Welcome back to Sleep Nurse UK. My name's Laura and I am a certified sleep consultant and also paediatric nurse. And today I really wanted to take a closer look at wake windows. You type this into Google and you will be confronted with a whole host of opinions, charts, forums, really discussing what are wake windows and if they're useful at all. But what actually is a wake window? So to put in really basic terms, wake windows are that period of time where an infant or a child can stay awake for without them becoming overtired. So for infants, they have quite short wake windows. So they will only be able to be awake for quite a short period of time before they would then need to have a nap. For older children, say around 2, they would be able to have quite a much longer wake period before they would need to have a nap. And then from 3 onwards, and for older children, they wouldn't need to have any naps in the day. Their wake window would be all day and they would just need that period of sleep at night. But where did the term wake window even come from? So wake windows were actually first coined by a scientist called William Dement. So William Dement actually didn't do research specific to wake windows. His work was really focused on the importance of sleep, its importance to health, and really looking at sleep disorders and their effects on individuals. But as part of his work, he became aware of wake windows and that when we become overtired, that has a knock-on effect on nighttime sleep. It's really his work and then current modern day research about children and infant sleep that's really developed our understanding of wake windows. Now, I've searched and there isn't actually any evidence-based scientific studies that prove wake windows. However, what we do know is through lots of different research that wake windows do exist. They vary from child to child, it's very individualized, but they are such an important part of not only day sleep, but their impact they can have on nighttime sleep. With wake windows, it is such a personal thing. So my oldest daughter is 12, almost 13, and I can honestly say I never knew what a wake window was. I put her down when I thought she was tired. I got her up when I thought she would need to wake up. I don't think the term wake window was as popular sort of 10 plus years ago as it is now. And I would always say to parents, you know your little one best. If you are going along without even needing to think about wake windows, keep doing what you're doing. If it's working for you, keep on doing it. But in my line of work as a sleep consultant, so often a cause of poor sleep at night is due to overtiredness or undertiredness, and that comes from an imbalance in daytime sleep and naps. So at the foundation of my work, if I'm working with a family, I will be looking at naps and wake windows, especially when we are moving through sleep training and a sleep plan. These pillars really are at the foundation of what we do because we want to get that balance just right. Again, you may be thinking, my little one sleeps absolutely fine. And if that is the case, again, you do you. So whilst there is limited scientific research trials to do with wake windows, What we do know from our knowledge of infant and child sleep really gives us the evidence base for wake windows. For some children, these will vary. Parents might not even know their child's wake window, but they'll just fall into a natural rhythm and they will have good sleep. For other families, being aware of the wake windows can be such a pivotal moment in addressing sleep concerns that they have. As a sleep consultant, when I work with families, looking at wake windows is one of the key areas because we know if children are overtired or undertired, the impact can be huge for their nighttime sleep. And again, the other thing to mention is we're looking at sleep in a 24-hour period. So it might be that little ones have longer wake windows at certain points of the day, shorter ones as we go on throughout the day. The key thing is it's not being specific at specific times. It's looking at sleep over a 24-hour period. Naps are so important. There's that saying that, oh, if you've got a poor sleeper, you should keep them awake during the day in the hope that then they will have a better sleep for you at night. And whilst you might think, oh yes, we'll deprive them of that sleep in the day and then they can add it on and get a better sleep at night. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. What we know is when children are overtired, they have increased levels of cortisol. That is the stress hormone. And that means it is actually harder for them to get to sleep. And it also affects the quality and the quantity of sleep in a negative way. So, actually depriving children of their naps in the hope that they sleep better has the complete opposite effect. Unfortunately, naps in the day are harder to get the hang of than nighttime sleeps. For the day sleeps, we have less melatonin. We also have less sleep pressure. So, if you think back to our circadian rhythms, so that natural wake sleep cycle, as we're coming up to bedtime, our melatonin levels are increasing and we've built up that sleep pressure all day that's signaling to our body it is time to go to sleep. In the day, we haven't got that melatonin, we haven't got that sleep pressure, so it can be harder to get right. It's also light outside. As your little one gets older, there'll be more things for them to look at, more things that they might not want to miss out on that might be stimulating for them. Maybe they have watched TV. All these things can contribute to them not having good quality naps. And when I work with families, I will give them a plan and some real action points to hopefully help the little one be in the best possible position to have a good daytime sleep. Now, really, wake windows are very specific to different age groups, but more than that, they're very specific to each child. What works for one will not work for another. And if I give you an example of this, my little boy is just over 3 now, and he still has his daytime nap. And when he is at home, he will sleep for about 2 hours. This doesn't stop him from sleeping at night. He is an amazing little sleeper. And because of that, I let him have his nap. Now, when he's at nursery, I know that he doesn't have his nap. There's too much going on. It's too stimulating. He's wanting to play, which is fine. But I think that just illustrates can be that bit harder, especially as they get older, to want to go and have their nap. And I know my little boy is in the minority. I know most of his peers at nursery don't have a daytime nap, and that works for that family and their little one, and that is absolutely fine. I chirp on about this all the time on my social media, but it's a foundation of my practice that if something is working for a family, you keep on doing it. Don't worry about anything else. I think it's only if you've got a specific sleep concern or you'd like just a little bit of help with routine and naps, then by all means, take whatever advice that you want to on board. But with wake windows, it's so individual. And also, it's individual day to day. So, say for example, if you've taken your little one swimming, they are going to be so tired following that quite stimulating experience. It's quite physical. And their wake window is probably going to be quite short after a swimming session in comparison to maybe you've just had quite a laid back morning, you've had a relaxed breakfast, your little one's playing with some toys at home. You might find actually their wake windows that bit longer because they've not had that stimulation. Also, if you look at newborn babies, I mean, everything is stimulating to them as they're learning about the world, their environment. So, going outside for a walk is, in fact, really stimulating for a little one. And you might find then, again, they have quite a short wake window, in opposed to if you were at home just having cuddles, or maybe just singing, or they were in the sling and you were just walking around the house. All these things impact on wake windows. Now, if you Google wake windows, you will find a whole host of charts, pie charts, graphs, figures for you to figure out what sort of wake windows your little one falls into. As a general guide, the younger the child, the shorter the wake window. The older they get, the longer the wake window. If you DM me on any of my social medias, wake window, I will happily share with you my wake window chart that I use when I'm working with families. And also feel free to send me an email. I'll put my details down below. If you just put wake window, and I will happily send you the chart that I use. Just as a rough guide, so for newborns, 0 to 3 months, their wake window is normally about 45 to 90 minutes long before they start to show signs that they are tired. Little ones 9 to 14 months old, their wake windows can vary between 2 to 4 hours. So it's quite a big number in between. And this is where your experience of as their parent comes into play. You know your little one the best. You will be able to see when they are tired better than anybody else, any book, any website, any sleep consultant. With newborns, they do tend to show us some physical cues that they are tired. The first general signs are staring into space. They might start becoming a little bit more fussy, looking away maybe from anything if you're looking at them or you're showing them a book and they keep looking away. Flushed eyebrows is actually a really good sign to look out for, that they're beginning to get tired. Now, later signs that a child is tired would be actually yawning. That is one of the later signs. Rubbing eyes and ears. Now, the reason that I'm making such a difference between those early signs and later signs is because it's all to do with those cortisol levels. So if you can get your little one to have a nap before they get too tired, you are reducing that cortisol buildup, that stress hormone that can come when a child becomes overtired. Because once you've hit in those stages of maybe excessive yawning, rubbing their eyes, then they might become upset, they might cry, bodies might go quite rigid. And once you get to that point, then they can be quite hard to settle down for their nap. So just be mindful. Try and keep, if you can, if you're not sure of your child's wake windows, look for the physical signs. What are they doing? What are their cues that are individual to them that show you as their mum or dad that they are getting tired. And it's at that point, that first point when they first show the signs, that you want to try and get them down for a nap. Now, for some children, they might go down for a nap quite easily. Amazing. For other children, it can be a little bit harder. And some families find it really useful to almost have like a mini bedtime routine for naps. So, for example, ensuring no screen time for at least 30 minutes before their nap, reading to them beforehand, so having a story. I always encourage families to use white noise if they're using it at night, and also using blackout blinds, because as I said earlier, it's so light, especially in the UK at the moment, and it's nice and sunny. So all these things are sort of working against your little one to have that daytime nap. And naps don't always have to be in the cot or Moses basket. A lot of little ones like motion naps, so that might be using the pram to get them to sleep, the car, always making sure if little one is in a car seat and going to sleep, that you're following your local safe sleep guidance. But don't ever feel like you're trapped and you have to get your little one to sleep in a cot. When I work with families and we're working on a specific sleep plan, I do always encourage that first nap to try and be in the cot or the crib, because that first nap is when little ones will have the most residual sleep pressure. So that sleep pressure that is built up from the previous day, from overnight, and they find it easier to go to sleep for that first nap. So sometimes if you're struggling with naps later on in the day, just making sure that first one is in the cot or crib, and then any later ones, if it's difficult for them to be in their cot, you could then take them out in the pram or in the car, and then you'll know that they're having a good nap. And again, we know these daytime naps are important because we're setting them up for success for that bedtime sleep. Did you use wake windows when your little ones were small? Again, I didn't use them at all when my eldest was a baby, but it's definitely something that I have looked more closely at with my third child, particularly because he was such a poor sleeper. And if you don't know about my youngest child, if you go back on my videos, video one, I really delve into how that first year of his life was probably one of the hardest due to severe sleep deprivation. And coming from that, looking at his wake windows was so beneficial for us as a family. And also, it's really good sometimes to know that routine. Some families might like to go with the flow. Other families having that structure throughout the day can be really helpful. Again, please always go with what feels right for you. So as I was asking, did you use wake windows? Do you find them beneficial, or are you definite, no, just go with the flow? I would love to hear your comments. So please feel free to drop me a comment down below. Also, if you wanted a copy of the chart I used to look at wake windows, please either drop me an email or just drop me a DM saying wake window across any of my social media platforms. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It means the world to me. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.